Hello and welcome to another installment of Metallic Reviews, the show where I take an honest look at the harder, heavier side of music and give it an honest rating. I do apologize for a little bit of lateness, a little bit of tardiness regarding this upload. I was in a half marathon yesterday morning and I just had some other stuff I had to get done, and some stuff does take priority over this, okay? Let's just be honest. Some stuff does take priority over this. Had to get all that stuff done, but we are back, and today we're going to be continuing our journey through the often snow-covered, melodic, finicky, and sometimes honestly downright bizarre world of Scandinavian metal. This time we are in Norway to discuss some absolute legends within a few different circles. Yes, it's Prog / Viking / black metal outfit Enslaved, and their new one, Heimdal, out March 3rd on Nuclear Blast. Now, these guys have been around for over 30 years. These guys have been around for a long time. In fact, next year is the 30th anniversary of their first two albums, one of which has way too many V's and G's in it for me to even attempt to pronounce. Yeah, it's one of those really Nordic type things, and I ain't even gonna go there. Not even gonna go there. Anywho, Heimdal is their 16th studio release. It's their first since Utgard back in 2020. So, is the band a little too long in the tooth, or have they put out something worth jamming to? Let's dive in and see. First of all, let me just say, I really like this album cover. It might be my cover of the year so far. It's so unlike what one might expect from an album like this. There's this trend, and can I even use that word in association with black metal? Maybe not. Anyway, there's this trend that's going around in that circle lately where bands are inclined to offer this artwork that it stands in really stark contrast to the melancholic subject matter and the harsh songwriting. We've seen it with a lot of newer bands, but Enslaved are definitely out of that mayhem, Dark Throne era where covers of corpse paint-laden men screaming in the woods were a dime a dozen. I'm thrilled that Enslaved are continuing down their path of somewhat avant-garde yet absolutely inspiring and intriguing album art. And behind that artwork here lies a record that is everything Enslaved have become known for and so much more. There are multiple winding passages of this pure beauty cut through with these absolutely amazing, aggressive amalgamations. I had fun with alliteration with this one. But seriously, I love how the band are able to maximize their efforts through these ideas of balance and superior craftsmanship. Really nicely done. But there are also a ton of surprises here. I always go into an Enslaved work thinking that I know what I'm going to get based on the traditions of the genres they're associated with. But the resulting album winds up being more in the vein of Opeth rather than Burzum or Bathory. Let's just say these guys know how to put an album together. Now, much as with Insomnium in our previous review, Enslaved's latest work highlights some of the most beautifully written metal of the year so far. An ear for the memorable is definitely guiding the band throughout this album. Lead vocalist, forgive me for butchering this, Grudel Kjelsen, while not quite an innovator on the mic, definitely lends himself to the more familiar and traditional black metal style. And joining him on clean vocals are keyboardist Hakon Vinje and drummer Ivar Sandoy. Again, forgive me for butchering that. Both of them offer excellent performances on their instruments while crooning in fantastic fashion. I love the push and pull between the vocals on here, great dynamics. The rougher black metal style comes in to offer that engaging aggression amidst all of the proggy pretty stuff. It just works. Now, that being said, the proggy pretty stuff is definitely what makes this album stand out amongst its contemporaries. Again, a lot of this is way more Opethian than one might think. Now, while Enslaved is definitely still influenced more by bands that would appear at Bloodstock rather than Woodstock, Enslaved do offer a musical approach that is way more spacious and thought-provoking than direct and abrasive. There's definitely room here for the listener to consciously absorb everything. It's not just this arrive, mosh, lather, rinse, repeat. It's not that. It's this beautiful absorption that takes place. Songs like Congelia and The Eternal Sea are excellent examples of this, thriving on chord progressions that are much more soothing as opposed to being blunt and sharp. On the downside, the album does take a little bit to get going, and some of the musical passages, while in no way awful, are like finding small bits of tough, chewy meat in what is otherwise a very well-cooked steak. I think I might watch MasterChef way too much in my spare time, folks. And, I'm not quite a big fan of the album opener, Behind the Mirror. I find it to be a little on the that difficult to get through side. It's not a bad song in any way, but there are just a few chords that don't quite work in the grand scheme of things. Maybe I'm looking this way too much with my musician's ear, but the chord progressions, some of them, just fell flat for me. The same goes for another track on the album, Caravans to the Outer Worlds, same issue, and then album closer, and which is also the title track. That had 2 minutes of the aggressive stuff, which was pretty good, and then it was followed up by this deadpan stuff that was just like electronics and some weird gurgled spoken word thing that I didn't understand. And then they came back in with this beautiful ending that I just loved. The album closer was kind of like two half ideas that didn't really pan out when smashed together. Thankfully, they're on an album with a ton of great ideas that really, really work. But those are minor complaints against what is overall an outstanding release, definite album of the year contender. When the band are locked in and writing music that is both beautiful and crushing at the same time, it's a constant winner. Yes, there are the small bits here and there that fall just a smidge short of the mark they've set for themselves, and that happens. But overall, I gotta say, I'm impressed. Enslaved have put out yet another album that has reminded me of just how good they really are. They just need to push a little further to be as good as they can be. Heimdal gets a 4.5 out of 5. Thank you so much for watching. Click like and do not forget to subscribe for more Metallic reviews. Next time, I'm going to be out of town. I am going to Florida for Braves spring training. Really, really, really excited about this trip. I'm a huge Atlanta Braves fan, but I'm definitely not going to forget about this. Next time, we're going to be soaking up the sun down in Florida and cracking the deathcore whip as we go through Suicide Silence as a new one. Remember, you must die. It certainly sounds like a puppies and kittens type of release, doesn't it? Well, anyway, I hope you'll join me for the review. You've been watching Metallic Reviews, where I give honest ratings to honest music, and I will see y'all next time.